Welcome to Dipsticks and Deals with Jimmy B and the Third Wheel on Real Talk 1160. Everything you need to know about cars, buying, financing, trading, maintenance, repairs, auto body, and more. Join the program by calling 513-579-1160. Now, here are your hosts, Jimmy B and the Third Wheel on Real Talk 1160.
Good morning. You're listening to Dipsticks and Deals with Jimmy B and the Third Wheel, where we talk about anything and everything automotive. Thank you for joining us this morning. You will be smarter for having listened. I'm Jimmy B. Remember, you can hear us anywhere in the free world on the TuneIn Radio app, Radio Loyalty app, or you can live stream at dipsticksanddeals.com or realtalk1160.com. Third Wheel.
Good morning, Jimmy.
What's going on, brother?
Not much, man. Don't forget about to follow us on Facebook or Twitter, or our WordPress blog, and the information about sponsoring the show. Go to Dipsticks and Deals, check the Advertise tab. What is that? The Advertise on D&D tab.
Yes. If you have a question or you'd like to get in with us here on Dipsticks and Deals, just give us a call at 513-579-1160. You can send us a message on Facebook, or you can email us at ask@dipsticksanddeals.com. In fact, if you have a automotive maintenance or repair question, you can call in, but certainly the more information the better, and we answer all these emails, and we get quite a few of them every week, but we respond to every one of them. So
we thought about it. We thought about having a sort of a fix-it type show or a segment.
Yeah, because I think there's a lot of people that enjoy that, and we'll see how that goes in the future. But for today and every Sunday, we are going to deliver information and entertainment for the American engine.
Not just because you drive cars, but because you drive America.
That's right. Yesterday, we were at the Cincy Custom Street Machine Show out at Easy Street, Speed and Customs in Milford.
It was a great show.
That was an awesome car show. We want to thank some folks, too, for having us out. Cincy Custom Street Machines, Debbie Manning, we talked to her yesterday, and there's probably some photographs on their website, cincycustomstreetmachines.com. Check that out. We want to thank the folks out at Easy Street, Greg Nolan, Bob Odom, and the rest of the crew out there. Put on a great show, some really, really nice pieces out there. I was very impressed with the quality of the cars that were out there. And we went over to Quaker Steak.
Quaker Steak and Lube.
Yeah, we went over there and had lunch and talked to some people over there, which with something that's really cool. We were over there, and this is in Milford, but we talked to a fellow named Bob Jacoby, who is going to be the guy in charge at the new Quaker Steak and Lube they're putting in Florence.
Where at in Florence?
Down on Spiral Drive, or Action Boulevard. It's where Action Nissan and all Volkswagen used to be back there by the mall, by Florence Mall.
Oh, it's right by the mall?
It's right by the mall. They're going to have, and what I thought was neat, what Bob was telling us about this one, is they all do the bike nights and stuff, which is really cool. He wants to do that, but he also wants to try to incorporate some other vehicle types, tuners, pickup truck stuff. And I thought that was a really good idea, and they definitely have the space out there. So they're going to try to make it more versatile as a Quaker Steak and have cruise-ins and all kinds of stuff for all kinds of vehicles.
Yeah, I think the Milford one had a sign up that they're going to have a custom cruise-in.
Yeah, they're going to start doing
on Sundays.
They're going to do Sunday cruise-ins,
right.
too. So hopefully one day we can get together with Quaker Steak and Lube and get them on board as a sponsor, and we'll go out and do some broadcasts from those locations.
That would be great, because we had great service, too. From Michelle.
Yes, Michelle did a great job. We enjoyed the food, and you can check that place out. And I think September is the date, somewhere late September. They're talking about opening that Florence store, Quaker Steak and Lube. Real quick, I wanted to mention, too, don't forget Operation Troop Aid. Go to OperationTroopAid.com for information. Charity that we support. It's for troops that are out in the field, that are fighting for our ability to be here on the radio and doing everything we love to do as Americans. So we want to support those folks, men and women, that are out there in the field fighting for our country. And I wanted to give you an update real quick, because we did get behind the Grant County Little League Build It Back benefit, which They had some arsonist go down there and burn down the clubhouse and the scoreboard tower and the concession stand for no reason. But it cost a lot of money, interrupted the league play, and this is for from T-ball all the way up. So there was a lot of kids involved, couldn't play on their main field, and it was a mess. But in any case, they had a Build It Back benefit, which we advertised for them, and they actually raised over $7,500, which is really, really cool. So we want to thank everybody who showed up down there and participated and helped them out, because now they got some cash that for next season anyway, they can build back the stuff that that they need to do to keep that league rolling.
Did they catch that dipstick that burnt that down?
I don't think so, and they believe it was a group of kids because they hit the concession stand first and robbed it of all the goodies.
Teenagers.
Yeah, probably. And it was done early in the morning, probably before school or something. But actually, I think they were out of school, but teenagers that shouldn't have been out that early in the morning, I would say. We want to thank our sponsors, too. These are the folks that make the show possible. Some of our favorite hometown businesses, such as
Ropke Automotive, 859-431-3733.
Yeah, and Robke, don't forget, has the Anywhere Care warranty on all their parts. Give them a call for information. Over 35,000 locations across the United States where you can get anything done at Robke covered under warranty, which is more than any dealer, manufacturer, any yellow and black franchise auto service place, all your tire stores. This warranty is covered at more places across the country than anywhere else.
And they're located down in northern Kentucky?
They are down at 1051 Dudley Pike, and they do everything. They sell cars.
Right.
They do service work, obviously. They have a collision center. They also are the exclusive Scorpion bedliner applicator,
which was a big hit yesterday at the car show.
Huge hit. We get so much response off of that liner, and a lot of people that we see that have the Scorpion liner and just rave about it. They got some special deals going on those too, so call 859-431-3733 if you're interested in a pickup truck bedliner, spray-in bedliner with a lifetime warranty.
What about Mel's?
Mel's Auto Glass, they're still doing the free oil change with glass replacement, which is really a big deal, and I keep saying this, and I can't say it enough. It's so convenient if you need glass work done, whether it's to be repaired or replaced. You can come down to Robke, drop your vehicle off. Mel's will come out there and actually do the glass work, and you get a free oil change from Mel's. So
that's awesome.
That's pretty cool. It's not every day that you need a windshield, but when you do, make sure you have this number, 513-563-7771. Tell them Dipsticks and Deals sent you to get the deal. They'll come to your house. They'll come to your business. And, of course, they'll come to Robke Automotive where you can pick up that extra deal. So if you need a little maintenance on your car and you do need a windshield replacement, they handle all the insurance too.
Then you got STI Towing, 859-485-1234.
And they're doing an outstanding deal for Dipsticks and Deals in Real Talk. What are they doing?
If you mention D&D, which is Dipsticks and Deals, the first 5 mile of the tow is free.
And with gas going up, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, is unheard of. So first 5 miles free if you mention Real Talk or Dipsticks and Deals. We got a lot to get to, and we're going to do that as soon as we come back. You're listening to Dipsticks and Deals on Real Talk 1160.
Weather when you need it. Your Real Talk 1160 forecast every 15 minutes.
Here's the forecast from northern Kentucky, Cincinnati, and the tri-state for this morning. Sunny skies, high near 88 degrees. Tonight, a low around 65. On Monday, slight chance of showers and thunderstorms after 12, mostly sunny, high near 89 degrees. And then Monday night, chance of showers and thunderstorms, a low around 68. From the Real Talk 1160 Weather Bug Forecast Center, this is Dawn James.
This is Steve Jarnicki, voice of Florence Freedom Baseball. Last night it was Brandon Mathis pitching a complete game shutout as the Freedom rolled to a 14-0 win against Evansville. Catcher Jim Jocko had 4 RBI on the night. As today, the Freedom will look to make it 2 in a row. It's a day-night doubleheader. Join me starting at 12:50 for all the action between the Otters and the Freedom on Real Talk 1160.
Selling Girl Scout cookies has taught me how to manage money, be responsible, and talk to other people.
On a visit to the food bank, I learned that in this economy, more and more people need help to feed their families.
Every Girl Scout cookie has a mission to help girls do great things.
Enjoy the 100 greatest books of all time and never read a word. Listen to them instead on the Library of Classics MP3 player. Enjoy Moby Dick, Gulliver's Travels, Tom Sawyer, Little Women, and 96 more, all preloaded on the compact player. Listen while driving, gardening, working out, or relaxing in your favorite chair. It's the perfect companion for road trips or on a plane. For a limited time, you'll receive the easy-to-use MP3 player, headphones, belt clip, car adapter, and 100 classic audio books. You could easily spend over $1,000 to buy the entire collection. You get everything for just $99 plus shipping. That's less than $1 a book. Order now and you'll also get 50 great classical music performances preloaded on the player. You're fully protected by our lifetime guarantee. If you are ever dissatisfied, get a complete refund, no questions asked. Call toll-free right now and order your library of classics.
1-800-435-6041. 1-800-435-6041. That's 1-800-435-6041.
If you drive a car, you must have this number, 1-800-828-0159. The number to STI Towing, the Tri-States Towing Pros. STI handles most motor clubs, including AAA, and they offer prompt, courteous, and professional service all day and all night. Mention Real Talk 1160 and the first 5 miles are free. That's 1-800-828-0159. 1-800-828-0159 for STI Towing.
We know you should be working, but seeing as you're on Facebook already, why not flip over to the 1160 page and tell us what you think? Then go to 1160.com and listen while you're online. We're worldwide. Real Talk 1160.
She seemed really depressed.
He had an knack for beating himself up.
She wishes that she was never born. And it was intimidating to talk to him sometimes because he just seemed so isolated by himself.
She started talking about how she wishes that her life was over.
And so I knew he had depression, but I didn't know it was that far.
He said something to me about killing himself.
Tell somebody, tell an adult, a counselor, parent, whatever.
It's a hard situation because you do risk making that person very angry and losing their friendship.
What are you going to do? Let them destroy themselves? I mean, I don't see much of a choice at all.
It's definitely worth getting help, even if you think you're going to lose a friendship, because it's better to lose the friendship than the actual friend.
Suicide is one of the leading causes of death among teens. For more information, contact the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention at 888-333-AFSP or online at afsp.org.
Hi folks, Debbie Robke with Robke Automotive. I'm here to tell you about Northern Kentucky's best full-service used car store. Shop Robke for sales, service, parts, collision repair, and rental car. Robke Automotive, where quality is superior, our prices can't be beat, our service is guaranteed, and our parts come with a national warranty. Come visit Robke and see why our customers are always smiling. Robke Automotive, I-275 at Exit 80 in Northern Kentucky, on the web at GoRobke.com, or check us out on Facebook for fantastic deals of the week.
We're driven to treat you right.
The Mike Huckabee Show, weekdays 3 till 5 on Real Talk 1160.
All right, you're riding shotgun with Jimmy B and the third wheel on Dipsticks and Deals. Real Talk 1160, 513-579-1160 if you want to get involved in today's show. We got to get to news, but a couple of things real quick. You know the keyless ignition that they're putting on a lot of cars now?
Yes.
Where you've got the key fob with the remote, and it just has to be in or near the car?
Yeah, I have one.
Okay, and then you push the button and it starts and all that kind of stuff. You know, with technology being such that it is and the hackers that are out there, that technology has actually made it faster and easier for car thieves to take those cars. And there's some stuff on YouTube where they have surveillance cameras where they show these guys actually get into a vehicle and they'll do one of two things. They have an RF jammer that goes in and just, distorts the code so they can break in the car and open the door without the alarm. More of the time, though, on a high-end car, they'll just break the window. They can plug into the diagnostic port with a laptop, go in and reconfigure something, and within 5 seconds, the car is started, no alarm, everything works, and they drive it away.
That makes sense, though. I mean, with technology.
Right. But isn't that something?
Yeah.
I mean it's a convenience, but it really makes you susceptible to some bad stuff. The computers on these cars they're so sophisticated. And actually, we got something in Fast and Furious about the technology that's likely coming, so we'll get to that too. But I just thought that was interesting and saw that video, how fast they took that BMW.
And it sort of reminds me of the cell phone usage about open up a car, unlocking a car door with cell phones. Now I've heard urban myth. Maybe not. Maybe so.
Well, it's old technology, but I could remember years ago driving down the expressway and my door locks were going up and down by themselves. I figured something was wrong until some kids drove by me laughing. I guess they just went down the road with the remote and were just randomly hitting it to see. It's kind of like when I drive into a neighborhood, I hit my garage door opener just to see if somebody's on the same frequency.
That would be old school.
Hey, we got a contest this week. This is our Gas, Cash, or Crash, where you can win $25 in gas, $25 in cash, or it's more than a $25 value if you ask me, but you can actually crash the show and be on air with us. So the question this week, go to Facebook and answer the question, what kind of car did Starsky drive in the TV show Starsky and Hutch? And there's always two parts to the question. What was the car's nickname?
I know the one. I don't know the other.
Yeah. Makes it a little tougher.
Of course, they'll Google it. Cheat?
Well, yeah. Well, that's the times we live in, brother. $25 in gas, $25 in cash, or crash the show and be on air with us live, which is worth a lot more than $25, believe me.
Couple $1,000 at least for half an hour.
All right, it is time to get to automotive news. Honda Manufacturing announces that it will build hybrid cars in Indiana at the Greensburg plant. They're going to hire over 300 workers. They're going to invest $40 million to increase hybrid production. This is on the heels of adding about 1,000 workers just last fall at the same plant. Currently, all Honda hybrids are actually manufactured in Japan.
Hybrids or hybrids?
Hybrids. I like to call them hybrids.
Okay.
Hybrids. Hybrids are manufactured in Japan. They're going to not stop exporting them to us, and it's going to be made right here in the tri-state. So pretty cool. Here's another one. This really had me riled up when I read this. GM announced that it, too, will be expanding. Yeah, they're going to dump about $420 million into a plant in Mexico.
That's also, I heard just recently about them, had a recording on one of these talk shows about GM over there in China.
Yeah.
Talking about how they're going to do that as well.
It's kind of sad. They're going to build a new crossover and a new truck platform, both to be built in Mexico. While our economy suffers and people out of work, GM takes our tax dollars that we use to bail them out and continue to support businesses in other economies such as Canada and Mexico.
And China now.
And we as taxpayers still own 26% of General Motors. Unbelievable. And yet Honda is expanding and putting people to work here in this country. So props to Honda today. Ford Motor Company advises owners of some 2013 Escape SUVs to stop driving them. Stop. There's a fuel line fire hazard. There's been a recall issued. It's on an emergency type priority, so owners will be able to get a car to drive in lieu of driving their Escape, but don't drive it to the dealership. The first thing you want to do if you've got one of these vehicles is call with your VIN number so that they can check to see if you're even eligible for it, because it didn't affect all vehicles. They will pay for the towing. They'll get the car to the dealership, get you a car to drive, and get that fixed for you. It only affects the 1.6-liter engine model, so if you've got one of these Escapes that has the bigger engine, don't worry about it. It's just the four-cylinder. Apparently, the Europeans don't have an issue with distracted driving, as the new 500 Fiat, the L model, will come with a console-integrated espresso maker.
That's ridiculous. I just want to state that.
Well, someone who enjoys Java like I do, I think it's really cool, but probably not a great idea as far as distracted driving goes. Now, Ford and Mercedes have driver alert systems that will have a little coffee cup symbol come up on the dash. That means, it's that thing where it monitors your eyeballs, and if you start to fall asleep, it dings real loud, and a coffee cup comes up on the dashboard. The Italians, I guess they just decided to add a real coffee pot. So if you start to fall asleep, it dings and starts brewing some espresso.
Did you see that car?
The Abarth or the 500?
The 500?
Yeah.
How do you put a coffee cup in there?
I know, it's very, very tiny. It's the size of a coffee maker.
We used to make fun of those cars in Europe, and now they're over here.
I know. The Abarth's pretty cool, though. That's a fast little Fiat.
Tiny.
It is tiny, but you're small, too. See, they were made for people like you. The Metropolitan Transportation Commission of San Francisco has proposed a VMT tax on every car registered in California. What is a VMT tax? Do you know?
Is it vehicle miles traveled tax?
That's right. Vehicle miles traveled tax. And what they're proposing is when you get your plates, they'll put a GPS unit either in the license plate itself, likely, or on your vehicle. And it would track your miles driven, and it would send you a bill.
Sounds like Progressive Snapshot.
Yeah. Isn't that ridiculous, though? Come on.
I was going to say something, but I'm not going to go into my political spiel here. But
I don't think that'll ever get passed, but I think it speaks volumes to the decision-making ability in California, and and everything starts there and trends this way.
But the government uses these tools because they say that they can, because you're on the government roadway
that we paid for.
That we're the government.
Well,
I'm just saying that's their reasoning behind that. They say they can do these things and implement these governing rules.
But they can't. They can't. I mean, I know they can legally.
They are.
You and me about to fight.
It's unfortunate, man, but that's what's going on until
And the black box things that you plug in, because there's more than just Progressive that has that now, where
the snapshot
right. thing, and they touted for teenage driving thing, and which I'm not opposed to. I've got two teenagers. I would like that for my own personal reference, so that I can, as a parent, coach them on their driving, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think I want my insurance carrier knowing when they accelerate too fast, when they stop too fast, and plus the crash data that's going to be available if you're in an accident.
And we're going to have this somewhat of a topic like this later on in the show about insurance and a common sense way of looking at it, if you can say that. And maybe we'll touch on that.
Yeah, we'll touch on it. We're not going to touch it.
Touch on the subject of Snapshot.
That is right. Listen, we got a lot of good stuff coming up. In fact, we need to get to Week in History, and we're a little bit behind, but we need to get to Week in History when we come back.
Real quick, though, I want to say something about the news. I think yesterday skimmed across the ticker about 800,000 tires.
Yeah,
being recalled from Michelin, and
I did have that, and it's not on the sheet that I printed this morning. But yeah, BF Goodrich and Uniroyal are recalling a bunch of tires. Maybe we'll get that number. It's 800,000 tires.
800,000. I saw yesterday.
841,000 tires. But I looked into it. For your general driver, not going to be an issue. It's a commercial grade tire, the commercial TA and the Uniroyal HD. So they're heavy-duty commercial tires. But for you business owners, if you've got them, you need to check into that. You've got a tire separation problem. We'll be right back with a lot more on Dipsticks and Deals. You're listening to Real Talk
Weather
1160.
when you need it. Your Real Talk 1160 forecast every 15 minutes.
Here's the forecast from northern Kentucky, Cincinnati, and the tri-state for this morning. Sunny skies, high near 88 degrees. Tonight, a low around 65. On Monday, slight chance of showers and thunderstorms after 12, mostly sunny, high near 89 degrees. And then Monday night, chance of showers and thunderstorms, a low around 68. From the Real Talk 1160 WeatherBug Forecast Center, this is Dawn James.
You want speed? You want power? You want style? You want something that turns heads? Then you want Easy Street Speed and Customs in Milford. Easy Street offers everything from minor repairs to full restoration, custom builds, late model mod, performance parts, and an on-site dyno for real performance tuning. Hot rods and cool rides at Easy Street Speed and Custom, 701 Chamber Drive in Milford, 513-831-7550. That's 513-831-7550.
7. How could you not join the Savage Nation? How could you not say to yourself that finally you understand me? How can you not get down on your hands and knees and say to yourself, by God, this man is the only voice in this country that's saying it the way it is?
Michael Savage, weekdays at noon on Real Talk 1160.
Attention business owners and individuals who owe the IRS. Do you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes? You need aggressive representation. Call Certified Tax now at 800-440-5360 and speak to one of our tax attorneys, enrolled agents, or tax professionals who specialize in tax liens, back taxes, tax debt, wage garnishment, and collections. We won't waste a minute helping you with your tax problems. We'll be on the phone with the IRS within 30 minutes of you becoming a client. We've settled millions of dollars of tax issues for a fraction of the cost. Find the peace of mind knowing the IRS will not be knocking on your door. Protect your home, business, and family today. We know the tax laws and we act fast. Call today for your free, no-obligation consultation. 800-440-5360. Remember, we'll be on the phone with the IRS within 30 minutes of you becoming a client. That's guaranteed. Call Certified Tax at 800-440-5360. That's 800-440-5360. Again, 800-440-5360.
Between the economy and the price of gas, how about a way to save some money for a change? Lower your insurance premium with help from Huseman Schmidt Insurance. They understand more than most because they've been local, family-owned, and part of your community since 1976. Huseman Schmidt's expertise and common sense approach have helped their clients protect their assets and save money. For all your business and personal insurance needs, call Huseman Schmidt at 513-521-8590 and ask for Rob or AJ, or visit HusemanSchmidt.com. Huseman Schmidt cares.
Now, I don't want to get off on a rant here, but extreme sports? Folks, let's call this what it is. Weird shit invented by guys who are willing to die to get laid.
Dennis Miller, weeknights at 10 on Real Talk 1160.
Hey, it's the Wild Man from my new favorite hangout, Willie's Sports Cafe in Covington. If you love sports, you'll love Willie's in Covington. They've got sports on flat screens in the restaurant and the bar. Before the Reds game, take the Willie's shuttle to the ballpark for $3. Then back to Willie's to celebrate a Reds win. If you love food, you'll love Willie's in Covington. All appetizers are just $5 every day from 1 to 7, and daily specials like Monday's Burger Madness, a half-pound burger, waffle fries, and a drink for just $7. Tuesday's Chicken Madness, a chicken sandwich, waffle fries, and a drink for $7. And Wednesday's Bang Bang Shrimp, just $5. If you love drinks, you'll love Willie's in Covington. The best happy hour every day from 1 to 7. $2 domestic pints and bottles, $3 domestic drafts, well drinks, and house wine. And check out Willie's Outdoor Deck. Enjoy all Willie's has to offer and the great summer weather at the same time. Take it from the Wild Man, you're going to love Willie's Sports Cafe in Covington, just over the Prince Spence Bridge on 75 South, or visit williescovington.com.
Hi folks, Debbie. Robke with Robke Automotive. I'm here to tell you about Northern Kentucky's best full-service used car store. Shop Robke for sales, service, parts, collision repair, and rental car. Robke Automotive, where quality is superior, our prices can't be beat, our service is guaranteed, and our parts come with a national warranty. Come visit Robke and see why our customers are always smiling. Robke Automotive, I-275 at Exit 80 in Northern Kentucky, on the web at GoRobke.com, or check us out on Facebook for fantastic deals of the week.
We're driven to treat you right.
Download the free TuneIn Radio app and listen anytime to Real Talk 1160.
Welcome back to Dipsticks and Deals with Jimmy B and the Third Wheel on Real Talk 1160. We are running a little bit behind. We need to get it in first gear, and we're going to get to history because we've got how to deal with a service shop successfully coming up. We got our Fast and Furious segment. We need to talk about car insurance. We got a lot of stuff going on. And real quick, too, yesterday at the car show out at Easy Street, Chuck and Betty had their 48 Fleetmaster out there that we did the story on.
Don't you have a picture of that on the Facebook?
I did. I put it on our Facebook from the show, so you can go to our Facebook page, Dipsticks and Deals, and check out Chuck and Betty's 48. It was good to see them out there, and what a nice piece. Easy Street outdid themselves on that car, so check it out. Let's get to automotive history.
All right. Let's look at it says Volkswagen introduced the Karmann Ghia coupe and I'm not even going to try to pronounce this because I don't speak German. Westphalia, Germany. The same year that the Ford T-Bird and Corvette were officially launched. While Chrysler had contracted with Italian design firm Ghia to come up with a flagship design also in 1955. They were never able to get anything to production. Volkswagen contracted coach builder Karmann for its new design, and Karmann contracted Ghia, who used the Chrysler design for the Karmann Ghia. The Karmann Ghia was supposed to be a Chrysler.
Wow. I didn't know that.
I didn't either because that's the first time I actually read it.
Really?
You probably tell.
It was supposed to be a Chrysler product. Shame on Chrysler because the Ghia was pretty cool.
Yes, it was.
Continue.
All right. July 19th, 1935, the first parking meter was installed in the U.S. in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. The meter cost was blank
5 cents.
Well, why don't you just read it before I say the whole...
Was it 5 cents?
5 cents for 2 hours.
I guessed. Wow.
Yep. July 21st, 1987, Enzo Ferrari, at the age of 89, introduces the Ferrari F40 during the 40th anniversary ceremony at the company's headquarters. The F40 was the first Italian production sports car to top how many miles per hour?
200.
Man, you keep reading. I tell you what, brother. You're a good reader.
I know what I'm talking about, sir.
July 24th, 1998, the South Korean government opens bidding for the Kia Motors company, which went bankrupt in Asia in the Asian financial crisis in the mid-1990s. I did not know that. Kia, which means out of Asia, had already produced vehicles that were sold under the names in the U.S., including the Ford Fiesta, the Ford Aspire, as Ford owned roughly 17% of the Kia Motors. That makes sense.
Shocked me, though. That shocked me when I read that. I had no idea.
But with my family had at Ford, that they used to say that Kia has to be attached to something like that at the time.
Right. So, but I did not know that those two cars were actually Kia cars. And, relative to their quality, I understand it fully now.
It's getting better. It's all getting better.
How to deal with a service shop successfully.
How do you?
It's tough, man. It really is, because I can't put my finger on what it is, but there's I guess when you go into an auto service shop, whether it's a dealer or an independent service shop, you're kind of in defense mode automatically.
Well, let me say this first.
Here we go.
I'm sorry, I have to take the other point as
I didn't even make my point yet. How are you going to make the other point?
Because as a woman...
Oh, you're a woman?
I'm a woman now. You get treated differently than men.
It depends on where you're at. And I believe that because I've been doing this for a long time, brother, and I don't treat anybody any differently. I don't.
Well, as a woman, I love you, Jim.
It's funny you mention that because the first thing on the list is to communicate properly. But when you go in, there's that it's cliche that you're going to get ripped off. I mean, you're going to go in there, they're going to take you for everything. And back in the day, back in the old days, and I'm talking old days, older than me days, there was probably some of that going on. I know there was. Is there still some going on? Depends on where you're at. You're shaking your head and you're making me mad over there. But you got to communicate properly, and basically what that means is you with the person you're speaking to, typically a service advisor. If it's a small shop, you might be talking directly to the tech, which can be even better in a lot of instances. But the information that you have to convey to these folks is what it is that you want, and if it's relative to a repair issue, let's say check engine light. How long has it been on? When does it come on? How does the car run? Do you notice anything different when the light's on? If it's a noise, when do you hear the noise? Where is the noise? What does it sound like? How often does it do it? You may want to ask for a ride with a technician. And the reason you need to communicate all this stuff as detailed as possible because this is what the technician is going to go off of to diagnose the car. And, you want it diagnosed and fixed properly the first time, but you don't want to spend a lot of diagnostic money because you didn't communicate to him exactly what it was. And we see this a lot. Folks will come in. They don't get detailed. They say, I got a noise in the front. And if that's all you got to go on, it's going to take a little longer to determine what noise it is. And then it happens also sometimes the technician will identify a noise that's different from the noise that the customer was speaking about. And they fixed really something that needed to be fixed, but it didn't address the concern the customer had originally.
So that's where it comes. Then what you're telling me is it's really important, and I don't know if as a service director you'd want us to, but it's really important to talk to the technician directly, and is that possible?
Well, first of all, I'd like you to speak to me in a woman's voice for the rest of this segment.
All right, Jim.
You said you were a woman. It is, but it's not always possible, and it's more so has to do with when you arrive. If you're there first thing in the morning, you got a better chance of talking to a technician versus a guy who's underneath a car busy. They're not going to interrupt him. But in a shop like a dealership or in a large independent shop, tire stores, they're going to have a guy on the desk that does all the administrative part. You've now interjected this third person who has to relay this information, and that's that pivotal role. Is that person capable of delivering to the technician exactly what you're telling them? So what we do at Robkey is that the advisors are trained that you type into the ticket exactly what the customer says. You don't put it into your own words, okay? You don't pre-diagnose possible this or that. Whatever the customer says, that's what you write. Even if it doesn't make sense to you, you put what the customer said. And then there's probing questions that you should be asked. If you don't come in and have all this written down exactly, a good shop, a good advisor is going to say, well, how often have you heard the noise? Do you notice if it's cold or hot outside? Is it in the morning? Is it afternoon? Is it when you've driven a long distance or a short distance? All this stuff together creates communication that delivers to the technician the ability to find quickly what the problem is, and you get the right thing fixed. So communication is a big one. Drop your car off for at least half the day. Now, I'm not talking about for really routine maintenance like oil changes only.
Right.
But if you have any kind of issue with your car, you will get your best service if you drop that car and are able to leave it. The reason is most service shops, like down at Robkey, we're working on a lot of cars. We're not just working on one person's car.
And Fear up north.
Fear, same way. They're going to have 50 cars in there on a given day that they have commitments to 50 customers. You have to schedule. And here's the thing. You don't know how long a particular car is going to take until you know what's wrong with it. So you diagnose it. It needs 3 hours worth of repair. You've got 20 hours booked for the day. You see what I'm saying? So it's a real administrative effort to get everybody satisfied, taken care of, and out the door. So if you can drop your vehicle, this show is going to go downhill quick because third wheel is over here making faces, raising his hand. What do you got?
All right. I know we're going on to a break soon, but one of the things is the diagnostic fee. Now, I'm sure you hear that more. I know you guys know what you're talking about, but as a customer, you tell us we needed a diagnostic thing done to our car, then there's this fee. Is any of that fee put back into the service that's being done?
It depends on where you're at.
Okay.
And I'm going to explain that a little bit more in depth because very, very few places are going to waive that. At Robkey, you get half of that back. I'm going to explain why they do the half, and I'm going to explain why you have to pay it to begin with. But it's a good thing to bring up because that all is relative to communicating properly,
right,
and dropping your car off and giving them the time that's needed because they might go from one car to another. We'll get into some more of that. We got a lot more stuff to come up. We're going to put it in second gear here and try to speed up this segment a little bit and get to some other stuff. Dipsticks and Deals, Real Talk 1160. We'll be right back.
Weather when you need it. Your Real Talk 1160 forecast every 15 minutes.
Here's the forecast from northern Kentucky, Cincinnati, and the tri-state for this morning. Sunny skies, high near 88 degrees. Tonight, a low around 65. On Monday, slight chance of showers and thunderstorms after 12, mostly sunny, high near 89 degrees. And then Monday night, chance of showers and thunderstorms, a low around 68. From the Real Talk 1160 Weatherbug Forecast Center, this is Dawn James.
Andy's Mediterranean has a second location, an American sports bar in the heart of Xavier University's campus. With a Mediterranean flair, of course. 8 big screen TVs, all sports, all the time. See all your favorite teams. Xavier, UC, UK. And everyone is welcome at Andy's. And don't forget about Andy's in Walnut Hills next to Eden Park also. Go to andyskebab.com. That's Andy's, KABOB.com. Free parking is always available at Andy's Mediterranean Grill. Listen to what's new.
It's amazing that the Secret Service would do something so dumb. Now, let me be fair. You can't blame Obama for this. And if anybody does, they're just being stupid.
The Mike Huckabee Show, weekday afternoons at 3 on Real Talk 1160.
How's the expansion plans going for your business?
Oh, I'm holding off until the economy improves.
Really? Are your competitors on hold for the next few years?
Well,
I'm not waiting. I called General Steel Corporation. Their steel buildings have been used for businesses, churches, and schools around the world. They showed me how to save real money on a building designed for my needs and to my specifications. I can actually operate more efficiently in a building they helped me design. While my competitors are sitting on the sidelines waiting for economic change, I'm going to make my own change and take market share. When this economy turns around, I'll be in the lead. Come on, you didn't start your business by waiting for someone to tell you when the time is right. Stop sitting on your hands and pick up the phone. And ask about these rebates that can save you up to $20,000.
Call 800-215-2418, 800-215-2418. That's 800-215-2418.
Hi, folks. Debbie Robke with Robke Automotive. I'm here to tell you about Northern Kentucky's best full-service used car store. Shop Robke for sales, service, parts, collision repair, and rental car. Robke Automotive, where quality is superior. Our prices can't be beat, our service is guaranteed, and our parts come with a national warranty. Come visit Robke and see why our customers are always smiling. Robke Automotive, I-275 at Exit 80 in Northern Kentucky, on the web at GoRobke.com, or check us out on Facebook for fantastic deals of the week.
We're driven to treat you right.
Dennis Miller? We've got an app for that.
I'm the guy who can't seem to figure out how to turn his radio down.
Download TuneIn Radio for your Android, iPhone, or BlackBerry and listen to Real Talk 1160 anytime, anywhere.
You've heard of a window of opportunity? How about a window of time? A window to the soul? This is John O'Sleek, and I'm here to tell you about the original 189 window from Window World. And this is your window of opportunity. If you have cheap or inefficient windows, you're losing money. Plain and simple. It's been so hot lately. Your windows should be insulating. That means right now, they should be keeping the cool air in and the heat out. If your windows aren't doing their job, your air conditioner is working much harder than it needs to, and that is costing you a lot of money. Just imagine how that can add up. Let Window World give you a free consultation and show you just how much money you can save. Window World, home of the original 189 window. Don't miss out on a great opportunity to save money, insulate your home, and get the best window on the market today. Choose the #1 replacement window company in America. Visit us at windowworld.com. That is windowworld.com. Window World, simply the best for less.
Did you know Fear Buick GMC in Hamilton has been family-owned and operated and serving the tri-state since 1932? Isn't that the kind of dealership you want to buy your next car from? And because of that success, Fear Buick GMC announces their upcoming move later this year to their new 26,000 square foot location between Menards and Kohl's near Bridgewater Falls. Come see Ray Tenley, Fear's general manager for the past 25 years, and tell him Dipsticks and Deals sent you. Call 513-863-8111 or visit fearmotors.com. That's FIEHRER Motors.com. If it's on our mind, it's our American duty to share it with you. Real Talk 1160.
Dipsticks and Deals on Real Talk 1160. Just have a visit from Mr. Steve Jarnke, the voice of the Florence Freedom. Stopped in, overheard us talking about diagnostic fees that Third Wheel brought up. What was your question or comment?
About diagnostics?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as a customer, not knowing much about cars, and that's actually a true story, I look at the diagnostic fee and say, okay, so you're going to look at my car, how much does that cost? And if so, do I get anything back if something needs to be done or fixed that day? Any of the money?
It depends on where you're at. I could tell you at a dealership, you're not going to get any of it back. At most service shops, you're not going to.
Okay.
Robke does it a little bit different. If you have the repairs done at their facility, they will credit you half of their diagnostic fee toward the repair for doing the work there.
And I guess what I don't understand, the diagnostic fee is more than just plugging it in.
Well, and that's just it. And we get calls a lot of time, well, can't you just plug it into a machine and tell you what's wrong with it? No, it doesn't. And the diagnostic, basically what it is the technician, he's a professional technician. He's been to school. They have anywhere from $30,000 on the low end to over $100,000 worth of tools and equipment. They have to be paid for their time. And what's funny is, well, it's not funny, but what's true, the same thing applies when you go to the doctor, when you have a heating and air guy come to your house, or a plumber or anybody else, or a tow when you get your car towed. There's a minimum fee to pay for the cost and the expenses relative to working on your stuff. So plumber's going to come to your house for $79 just to walk in the door, and if he finds a $2 washer needed to be replaced, guess what? It's $79 plus $2 plus his half hour that he's going to charge to put that washer in. Everybody pays that. Gripes maybe under their breath, but when it comes to the automotive service industry, everybody has a different attitude. And I don't understand quite why that is. But, yeah, you have to pay to have your car diagnosed, and then the estimate of repair comes after. That technician, whether you have the car fixed or not, still spent the time and the tools and his experience on figuring out what's wrong with your car, and there's a value in that, and there's a cost for that associated with that, for not just the tech, but for the service center. So most shops have a minimum when you bring the vehicle in. Now, we do it a little bit differently, too, whereas we have diagnostic rates set up for brakes and different components because some are more involved than others. If you have a diesel, if you have an electrical issue or a drivability issue, which is where the car is running poorly with or without a check engine light, but those are going to come at a premium because that's your more sophisticated, your higher paid, more experienced technician who has to work on those things. So it depends on where you're going. But it's not that you're paying for something that you're not getting. I mean, there's value in that. You're having a professional technician find out what's wrong with your car. Where it becomes an issue, and the reason I referenced the heating and air guy that comes to your house is you pay your $69, $79, $89. It might be $100 diagnostic per hour. It just depends on where you're at. But if the technician gets in there and you've got a minimum and it's going to cost you $79, and within 10 minutes he finds the problem, people don't think they should have to pay that minimum $79. Well, the expenses haven't changed. The administrative cost, the utilities, the technician's time, none of that has changed. He just happened to find it faster, but that's why you're paying a premium, because he has the ability to find it faster.
Or he doesn't find it, which I'm sure is rare.
Sometimes it don't. Sometimes
I want my money back is what you'll hear.
Sometimes, it doesn't happen often that you don't find it. And, of course, like if you're at Robke and they spend an hour or two diagnosing your vehicle and they cannot find it, or if you're up at Fear up in Hamilton and they can't find it, they're not going to charge you anyway. I mean, they're not.
Okay.
They won't charge you. But like you said, that rarely ever happens that they can't find something. So
it's not by the hour. It's not by this or that. It's a diagnostic fee, and this is what you found.
It's a diagnostic fee, and it can be depending on what the nature of your issue is. And again, if you've had your vehicle to shop and they've attempted a repair and were unsuccessful, and then you take it to shop B, you're likely going to be in for more diagnostic, because now they got to go behind somebody else who potentially screwed it up and try to figure out what they did or didn't do. And there's time involved in that, and there's cost associated with that, and that's what those charges are for. Just like the plumber who comes to your house, the HVAC guy, the medical co-pays, and all the other stuff that goes into it, it's the same philosophy, same business model. That's why it has to be charged. Another big one. A lot of people are good at this. Some people, when they're bad, they're really bad, and that is remove items from your vehicle and even tidy it up a bit. There's nothing worse. Imagine, these guys are working on these vehicles. This is what they do for a living. This is their job. And they have to get into a vehicle that has trash and stuff stacked up piled high, especially if it's something they have to do on the interior of the vehicle. This is a true story. We have a customer at another shop, not at Robke, but another shop. At that, we had a customer who literally, when she brought her vehicle in, there was enough room to get into the driver's seat, put it in gear, and drive it. That was it. It was stacked from the floor to the ceiling where you couldn't see out the windows even. Literally every other seat in the car.
That's nasty.
It's not only nasty, but we've ultimately had to say, look, and we needed to get into the heater core on this particular vehicle. We couldn't even get to it. We had to tell her, we need you to take all this stuff out of your car before we can work on it.
Right.
She never came back. I don't know that she was offended or she just didn't want to do it. But in any case, get the garbage and the stuff. Don't leave a bunch of stuff in your vehicle. You never know where a diagnostic's going to end up. If they have to pull trim panels out to check wiring harnesses and things, and the back seat's full of stuff, just pull that stuff out of there. It's going to make life easier for them. It's going to make easier and faster diagnostic and repair for you. So it is to your benefit. Another one, and this is a tough one for a lot of folks, and that is to leave the shop alone. Once you drop your vehicle off, you don't need to call every hour and try to get an update. If you're at the right place, they're going to call you and keep you up to date. And what we do at Robke, and I know Fear does this, whether or not they have information relative to your vehicle as it to being diagnosed, estimated, completed, even if they don't have any of that, they call you just to touch base. Just wanted to let you know we haven't forgot about you. We're still working on your vehicle. Will you be available at such and such a time? I'm going to call you back. That way you don't have to call. You don't have to wonder what's going on with your vehicle. But believe me, nobody wants to get your car fixed and get it on out the door so they can move to the next one faster than the service shop. Sometimes customers interrupt the entire process from the front all the way to the back by calling in repeatedly 3, 4, 5 times a day on something, especially if the service department told them it's a complex issue. Could be 3 or 4 hours before we know what's going on, and yet you see people that call in every 30 minutes anyway.
Right, and you can understand some of the why they do that, because it may be their only car. But the thing is, too, from talking to you, I know there's something cool out there that people can be able to do in the future, or it's going on right now in service shops with the technology of being able to email the technician or look at a status all through the site or email or something. I'm not sure exactly how you guys do it, but I know there's a program out there.
There is a program out there. We use it at Robke. A lot of shops are starting to get into it, and that's where you can not only make appointments online, but you can go online or on your smartphone and check the status of your vehicle and see whether or not it's what phase it is in the process. You can correspond via text and email so that you're not having the phone ring, et cetera, and causing that interruption. And you have every right to call on your car, don't get me wrong, but when you're trying to schedule that much work through a shop on a daily basis and get everybody taken care of, it throws kind of a wrench in there.
Isn't there some of them, like you can even text or email the technician or chat with the technician?
Chat with the tech. You can get your estimate emailed to you. All kind of neat stuff on the tech side. We got a lot more. We got to shift this thing into third gear shortly, so stay with us. You're listening to Dipsticks and Deals on Real Talk 1160.
Hey, it's the Wild Man for Cricket Wireless. It's never made more sense to switch to Cricket than right now. Android phones starting at $39.99 when you switch from another carrier. And now save an extra $120 a year on your plan with unlimited data, talk, text, and music. Plus, you get Move Music. Millions of song downloads included, all for one low rate. Sign up today only at a Cricket store or mycricket.com. Tell them the Wild Man sent you. Cricket, your call.
Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. Valid when switching from T-Mobile, Sprint, Verizon, or AT&T. Requires new activation. See store for plan, data usage, and coverage details. Terms and conditions apply.
Real Talk 1160.
WQRT, Florence, Cincinnati.
Home of the Bulldog, Eric Dieters, Laura Ingram, Michael Savage, Mike Huckabee. Real Sports with Wildman Walker and Dennis Miller.
Real Talk 1160.
AP Radio News.
I'm Tim McGuire. The Olympics seem to be old hat for Kim Rhode as the U.S. skeet shooter sets a U.S. record as she takes another gold. Here's more from our Warren Levinson in London.
Kim Rhode set 2 Olympic records and made history with a gold medal in skeet shooting. In the morning qualifying, Rhode hit a record 74 of 75 targets. Then she went out in the afternoon at the Royal Artillery Barracks and hit all 25 shots in the final, setting another record with 99 of 100, coasting past China's Wei Ning for the gold. Rhode is the first female shooter to win 3 Olympic gold medals. She's also the first American athlete to win medals in individual events in 5 straight Olympics. Her 5 medals ties us for most among all Olympic shooters. Warren Levinson, London.
Fans who tried to buy tickets to the various venues for the London Games were a little confused and angry when they saw all those empty seats.
The empty seats are disappointing. We were watching on television last evening and I commented on the fact there were loads of seats that weren't filled. And it's a shame that a lot of people like us missed out.
Organizers say the seats are parts of blocks allocated to sponsors and teams. Their plan now is to give the tickets to unfilled seats to students and members of the military. Meanwhile, the U.S. men's basketball team is in action, taking on a French squad led by NBA All-Star Tony Parker. After one, the U.S. leads 22-21. Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney, during a meeting today with Israeli President Shimon Peres, says Iran should not be allowed to develop a nuclear weapon.
Like you, we're very concerned about the development of nuclear capacity on the part of Iran and feel it is unacceptable for Iran to become a nuclear-armed nation.
A senior Romney advisor says the candidate, in a speech set for later today, is expected to outline support for Israeli military action to keep Iran from going nuclear. This is AP Radio News. Another tragedy for one of the Colorado shooting victims. Ashley Moser, who was seriously wounded, has had a miscarriage. AP's Amanda Kwan reports.
The woman's daughter, Veronica Moser Sullivan, also died in the attack, and she was the youngest person who was killed. She was 6 years old.
Veronica and 11 others were killed in that attack. Ashley Moser is one of 58 who were hurt or wounded. Authorities say a missing 12-year-old shows no sign of injuries after being found alive in Tennessee. We've got more on that story from AP correspondent Jeannie Nuss.
Police in Little Rock had initially put out an Amber Alert for the missing girl. She's 12-year-old. Her name is Amber Whitlow, after her adoptive parents were found dead.
Also found with her the man suspected of abducting her and killing her adoptive parents, who were also his parents. Antonio Whitlow was wanted on 1 count of kidnapping and 2 counts of capital murder. I'm Tim McGuire, AP Radio News.
Weather when you need it. Your Real Talk 1160 forecast every 15 minutes.
Here's the forecast for northern Kentucky, Cincinnati, and the tri-states for this afternoon. Mostly sunny, a high near 89. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 66 degrees. On Monday, partly sunny, a high near 90 degrees. 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Monday night, mostly cloudy, a low around 69. From the Real Talk 1160 Weatherbug Forecast Center, this is Jim Tice.
This is what real sports sounds like.
The majority of the people that will go to this ball game on Saturday afternoon, when the game's over, they will go home, and that's been their Saturday.
With those prices, if you're taking a family down there, you bet your ass that's their Saturday.
Real sports, weekdays at 5 on Real Talk 1160.
Hey folks, Jimmy B here. Did you know that one of the most important structural aspects of your vehicle is the windshield? It accounts for almost 50% of the rollover strength. That's why you must choose the right company for windshield repair and replacement, and that's Mel's Auto Glass. Mel's Auto Glass has certified professionals serving the tri-state for more than 25 years. Don't trust something so important to anyone else. The experts at Mel's Auto Glass for quality, value, and peace of mind. Call 513-563-7771. That's 513-563-7771.
Attention all Hyundai owners. Congratulations, because your used Hyundai may be worth more than you think.
John, why is that?
Well, here at Columbia Hyundai, because of high trade values, it's possible to trade in your used Hyundai and keep your present payment or even lower it for a comparable new Hyundai.
Payment-wise, how low can you go?
Right now, get a new 2012 Hyundai Accent for $149 a month, a new 2012 Elantra for $169 a month, or a new 2012 Sonata for $199 a month. This is a 36-month lease. Other than tax and title, there's only $19.99 due at signing. All these cars get over 40 EPA miles per gallon on the highway.
So this is part of the Hyundai Fuel Efficiency Drive sales event during July?
Yes, plus all new Hyundais come with America's best warranty, a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, and the Hyundai Assurance.
That's a better warranty than a Lexus.
And we can get you finance approval in 30 minutes or less. And remember, we need good trade-ins, so we'll give you top dollar for yours.
Only at Columbia Hyundai on Montgomery Road at I-275.
Call 489-2000 or see our video at ColumbiaHyundai.com.
Real Talk 1160 is on Facebook. It's okay to love us. Too bad Facebook only has a like button. Let us know what you think. Comment, unload, let loose, or praise away. Follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Real Talk 1160.
Hi, folks. Debbie Robke with Robke Automotive. I'm here to tell you about Northern Kentucky's best full-service used car store. Shop Robke for sales, service, parts, collision repair, and rental car. Robke Automotive, where quality is superior. Our prices can't be beat, our service is guaranteed, and our parts come with a national warranty. Come visit Robke and see why our customers are always smiling. Robke Automotive, I-275 at Exit 80 in Northern Kentucky, on the web at GoRobke.com, or check us out on Facebook for fantastic deals of the week.
We're driven to treat you right.
The Bulldog, Eric Dieters. Weekday mornings at 7. Real Talk 1160. Welcome to Dipsticks and Deals with Jimmy B and the Third Wheel on Real Talk 1160. Everything you need to know about cars, buying, financing, trading, maintenance, repairs, auto body, and more. Join the program by calling 513-579-1160. Now, here are your hosts, Jimmy B and the Third Wheel on Real Talk 1160.
Welcome back. We got to get this show moving, brother. You know, you mentioned something. We're talking about dealing with a service shop and how to do it successfully and, you know, reducing the level of stress that can be associated with having to have your car repaired, because it most often always creates an inconvenience for the person driving the car and have to drop it off. And the service shops do their thing, and they understand that. So they want to try to get the vehicle out as fast as they can. But when we were on break, you had mentioned the relativity between an auto technician
and a doctor
or
a coroner.
And notice that I call them technicians. I don't ever call them mechanics, because mechanics kind of that old school. That to me associates more of your shade tree kind of guy, your lower level guy working on a car as a mechanic. These guys are professionals. They go to school. They have to be certified. If you're in the right place, they're going to be certified. And they're technicians, and that's what they are. I mean, the guy that comes and works on your AC that I talked about, he's a technician. He's not a heating and air mechanic. You know what I mean?
Well, what I told you was my wife yells at me when I say the technician is like a doctor who is working on a very complex machine and trying to get it to run correctly. And she says, well, the machine isn't alive.
Yeah, and that's true. And that's
so then you said it's
that's a valid point.
So
I mean,
okay, they're like coroners then.
They're more like sometimes
Frankenstein.
Yeah,
Dr. Frankenstein.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're working on an engine and replacing lifters inside the engine, it would be a lot more difficult to do it while it was running than when it's turned off. And doctors do them while they're running. That's the difference.
Not technically. I mean, the engine's running, but they're not running.
You're really getting on my bad side today, Third Wheel. There are some similarities when you go and, you know, the biggest difference is when you go to a doctor to have something checked out and they're wrong, you just keep paying and you keep going back. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's never ending. They get paid even when they're wrong. Technicians, you know, service shops, it's a little different. You know, they fix something and it breaks again, you don't expect to pay anything. In a lot of cases, you shouldn't. But there's some similarities in that regard. But I do like the thought that the doctor does a heart valve replacement while the heart's still functioning or the body's still functioning. And a mechanic does it when it's turned off, because you can't do it when it's running.
Right.
So there are some of those similarities and differences. A big one you need to understand, and we alluded to this with diagnostic, but you got to understand how the shop charges for parts and labor. You want to have a clear-cut breakdown. Do they charge flat rate? Do they use industry labor time, which there's an industry standard for every, or most every, not every single operation is available, but is it a time and material charge? In other words, however long it takes them is how many hours they charge, or do they use the book time? So if the book says that this is a 3-hour job to put a water pump on this car and it takes the guy 4.5 hours, you still only pay 3 hours. The other side of that, a technician who's seasoned and knows what he's doing and has done that job 150 times can maybe do that in 2 hours. You're still going to pay the 3 hours. That's what flat rate is. You're going to pay the average book time labor to do that job. And it all does average out.
I was going to say, it works both ways.
It does work both ways, and it averages out for the technician because that book time doesn't account for a bolt that breaks or something of parts delay, wrong parts, and all that stuff. So literally, physical working time on the vehicle, he may have 2 hours in it. Total job time, especially if you account for the write-up process, the parts department, the parts acquisition, getting the parts to the dealer, all the billing, all the administrative, all the way through the cashier process, it's 4 or 5 hours. So you're still getting what you paid for either way, okay? But you do need to understand how they do charge for it. Their parts break down. You don't need to know how much they're making on the parts. You just need to know how much are you paying for Part A, Part B, Part C. That does give you the option to source it online. And not that you're going to be able to go get the parts and bring them, but you can find out, okay, well, I can see that such and such has this part for $50. Can you tell me what is different about your part that I'm paying $250 for it? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
If you don't have that up front, as well as you think you're doing in a service department, if you don't have some idea or something to go on, you really don't know if you're getting taken or not. So try to understand that there should be a parts listing itemized. Each part has its price. The labor, how many hours does the job take? The diagnostic, do you get any back or don't you? How many hours diagnostics do they have? And have it itemized so you understand where all the charges are coming from.
Can you negotiate those things at all?
No.
Okay.
I mean,
no, I understand.
Everything's negotiable, really, but no. I mean, these are all pretty well set pricing.
Right.
The labor rate is what it is, so it's the book time times that labor rate, so there's really nothing to negotiate. And the parts, I say there's some negotiation relative to the price, but it always has to do with quality. That's the issue.
Yeah, and I just asked that because I've been in service lines before. I see people argue in front of me. And it's like, really, buddy? I mean, come on, man.
You know, that's a whole nother bag of worms, so to speak, because it's weird that in our industry, people think that it's negotiable.
It's like you're connected to the sales part of.
Yeah, and maybe that's where it
Right.
comes from dealerships that have a sales department, and that's the norm, that it bleeds off into the service and collision center where folks wanted to barter and try to get a better deal, which is nothing wrong with trying to get a better deal, but it operates the same as any other business because I doubt many of these people go to JCPenney and pick out a nice shirt and then go to the cashier to pay for it and say, hey, can I get this for like $3 less?
Right, it's retail, I mean.
Which is the same sort of analogy if somebody goes to Jeff Ruby's, whom I love.
Very good.
And brings their own steak and says, yeah, listen, I want this meal, but out of their backpack, they pull a big slab of meat. Here, I want you to cook this. I brought my own steak. You're not going to find many restaurants unless that's their forte that lets you do that.
Right.
But in our industry, for some reason, it's expected that A, I can bring my own parts. B, I can call anytime I want and get professional advice for free. That's kind of a no-no. You're not going to get good advice calling an auto service shop and asking for free information. It's just not going to happen unless it's something very simple or you're a really good customer. Most of the time, that introduces that big interruption. And service shops are busy. They don't need those kind of interruptions. If you need your car checked out, bring it in. That's going to be kind of their attitude. So just be aware of that. We got into this a little bit too, understanding the complexity of auto repairs these days. It's different. It's the computers. It's, there are no simple systems on these later model cars especially. And I'll tell you a few of those that most folks don't understand how technology has changed the way they operate. So we'll get into some more of that and some other stuff. A lot of stuff we got to get to on Dipsticks and Deals, so come back. Real Talk 1160.
weather when you need it. Your Real Talk 1160 forecast every 15 minutes.
Here's the forecast for northern Kentucky, Cincinnati, and the Tri-States for this afternoon. Mostly sunny, a high near 89. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 66 degrees. On Monday, partly sunny, a high near 90 degrees. 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Monday night, mostly cloudy, a low around 69. From the Real Talk 1160 WeatherBug Forecast Center, this is Jim Tice.
How about real car talk? Maintenance and repairs, buying and selling, hot rods and cool rides, performance, off-road and auto racing. How about Dipsticks and Deals on Real Talk 1160? The show that's anything and everything automotive every Sunday morning from 9 to 11. With me, your host, Jimmy B, and the third wheel, you'll get industry insight, cool trends, tips and tricks, and a whole lot more. For an entertaining and engaging look into the automotive world, listen to Dipsticks and Deals every Sunday morning at 9 on Real Talk 1160. You'll be smarter for having listened.
You all might think I'm tough, bold, brash, smart. You may not realize this, but I'm a painter and a poet too. I'm kind of famous for it.
The Bulldog, Eric Dieters. Mornings 7 to 9. Real Talk 1160.
I'm Dr. Lawrence Kurtzman. There's nothing more important at Kurtzman Plastic Surgery than providing not only the finest environment and experience, but most importantly, the absolute best results anywhere.
I lost over 100 pounds and I turned to Dr. Kurtzman to surgically remove all my excess skin. From the office to the service and especially the results, I was blown away. Best decision I ever made.
My recovery was way quicker and easier than I ever imagined. So many people warned me how rough tummy tuck recovery could be. Not with Dr. Kurtzman. My friends were amazed I was out to dinner only 2 days after my surgery. The surgeon you choose does make a difference.
Don't believe all the sales pitches and hype. Go to a board-certified plastic surgeon. It does make a difference. For a complimentary, informative, and pressure-free consultation, call Kurtzman Plastic Surgery, 513-891-4440, 513-891-4440, or Google Kurtzman with a K Plastic Surgery. Kurtzman Plastic Surgery. Never settle.
You want speed? You want power? You want style? You want something that turns heads? Then you want Easy Street Speed and Customs in Milford. Easy Street offers everything from minor repairs to full restoration, custom builds, late model mod, performance parts, and an on-site dyno for real performance tuning. Hot rods and cool rides at Easy Street Speed and Custom, 701 Chamber Drive in Milford, 513-831-7550. That's 513-831-7550.
Jerry Doyle.
One of my doctors from Cuba said that if I was in the Cuban healthcare system or the British healthcare system, or if I was in the Obamacare system 5 years from now, you'd already have a toe tag.
The Jerry Doyle Show, weeknights at 7 on Real Talk 1160.
Hey, it's the Wild Man from Real Sports 1160, here with my friend Rob Bullock from Bullock Roofing.
Hey, Wild Man.
Rob, I hear you guys are the roofing experts.
That's right, Wild Man. If it has to do with a roof, we can handle it. Roof contracting and replacement, shingles, gutters, chimney repair, skylights. We even offer replacement windows.
Now, what sets Bullock Roofing apart from the other guys?
Wild Man, we are the roofing experts. We do it once, we do it right, and our pride shows in our work. Our customers mean the world to us, and their satisfaction speaks volumes. We're based on old-fashioned value and fair prices.
And word of mouth today is everything.
That's right. Our popularity has grown thanks to our customers telling their family and friends about our quality work.
Take it from Rob Bullock with Bullock Roofing. If you need help with your roof, gutters, chimney, even replacement windows, get the treatment you deserve from the experts at Bullock Roofing.
We service the entire greater Cincinnati area. Find us on the web at bullockroofing.com. That's bullockroofing.com. Call us for a free estimate today at 513-771-2096.
Hi, folks. Debbie Robke with Robke Automotive. I'm here to tell you about Northern Kentucky's best full-service used car store. Shop Robke for sales, service, parts, collision repair, and rental car. Robke Automotive, where quality is superior. Our prices can't be beat, our service is guaranteed, and our parts come with a national warranty. Come visit Robke and see why our customers are always smiling. Robke Automotive, I-275 at Exit 80 in Northern Kentucky, on the web at gorobke.com, or check us out on Facebook for fantastic deals of the week.
We're driven to treat you right.
Having trouble picking us up? Download the free TuneIn Radio app and listen to crystal clear Real Talk 1160.
Welcome back to Dipsticks and Deals on Real Talk 1160. We were talking about how to deal with a service shop successfully. A lot of stuff involved in this, and we've been talking for quite a while. We're going to continue, but before we do, there's a couple of our normal weekly segments that we want to get to, which includes fuel prices.
Yep. Looks like in the tri-state, and usually this happens with the club pumps. And what I mean by club pumps, I mean like Sam's or Kroger's or something like that. When you use your
Reward
discount
stuff,
card.
yeah.
The regular low, and like I said, the club pumps will probably have the regular low. But I saw some regular gas stations that aren't far off at $3.22 this week. The high is $3.52.
That's ridiculous.
Well, it's going to keep going up because it looks like last week or the week before it was $3.16, and so
It's almost not worth discussing the reasons why gas fluctuates anymore.
I don't think it is.
I mean, because you hear so much garbage. It's just, I don't know.
It's over. I mean,
I just don't understand a commodity that the price can change so rapidly. I mean, within hours. Doesn't make sense to me.
Well, the optimist that you are, the tri-state is actually lower than the national average.
And that's a good thing.
Yes. The national average low for regular fuel is $3.45. The high is $4.11. The diesel is $3.77 for the low and $4.85 for the high.
Wow.
Yeah.
Glad I don't have a diesel.
Which just means, but trucks do.
Yeah.
And they carry our goods to go to the store.
That's right.
That they're going to up their price. So I'm the pessimist.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What else we got? We got a car of the week this week.
What is the car of the week?
If you got one of these things, you don't want to pay those kind of gas prices, but what a hot car. 1969 Dodge Dart GTS 340. This is a cool car. You need to go to Facebook later today and check out a picture of this. It's a 340 cubic inch, 300 horsepower engine, 4-speed transmission, 391 sure grip differential. What was cool about this car was it was a high horsepower but low vehicle weight because this was a small car. It allowed it to really embarrass a lot of the big blocks out there because it ran, high 13s, low 14s in a quarter mile. It's like the Dodge Scamp and those kind of cars. This Dart body is a small
Is that the square?
two-door. Yeah.
Okay.
Small two-door. I'll put a picture on Facebook and on our website too at dipsticksanddeals.com. But just a really hot car in 1969 and a big block eater with the 340. So very cool. Our dipstick of the week.
Yeah, I was
this
going to ask
week,
you, who's our dipstick?
Well, we got a triple dipstick this week. And it's a triple dipstick, and they are Jamie Brown, husband and wife, and Heather Kaminsky. You might have seen this story. They're from Laurel County, Kentucky.
Where's that?
Down in Laurel County, Kentucky.
All
Yeah.
right.
Jeremy and Jamie decided they needed to trade their 99 Dodge Dakota, and so they did. And they traded it to Heather Kaminsky for her baby.
Do what?
Real life baby, a child, a human being. They traded a Dodge pickup truck for a baby.
If you or any member of your family ever been diagnosed with schizophrenia,
Sounds like that movie from Raising Arizona or something with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, that was a great movie too, by the way. But Heather was only in Kentucky to have the baby because she had her other two kids taken away from her by Child Services when she lived in Florida. She sold the old truck. She traded for the baby, sold the truck for $800 and a little meth, little boot.
And then the dipstick who sold the baby.
Isn't that crazy? They traded their Dodge pickup truck for a baby.
I hope these people are in jail.
Well, they're facing 20 years.
How about life?
Now, Heather, the one who had the baby, she's on the lam. But the baby's in good hands with a foster home. That poor kid. What a story to have to be told when you're older.
Hopefully they don't tell her.
Man, an $800 pickup truck. What a dipstick. 3 of them. Triple dipstick.
And they walk amongst us.
Every day.
I'll tell you what.
Real quick, Easy Street Speed and Customs Hot Rod Roundup. A couple of things going on. August 18th of this year, rain or shine, easy for me to say, all vehicles are welcome to the 6th Annual Labor of Love Show. Now, this is a show that used to be in Hebron, Kentucky. Easy Street's got such a nice, large facility. They have moved this annual Labor of Love show up there. It's presented by the Border Lords. 701 Chamber Drive in Milford. Registration is $10 for your car. Whenever registration is 9 to 12:30. There's going to be vendors. It's free to spectators. So come down and join us and join the folks at Easy Street and the Border Lords for one heck of a car show, just like we had yesterday out at Easy Street Speed and Customs. Another thing going on in the Hot Rod Roundup, there's a documentary film coming out, which I think is really, really going to be cool. It's called Black Air, and this is a documentary on a car that was one of our cars of the week long ago, which was the Buick Grand National, the Turbo Buick Grand National, 86 model, I believe. So that's going to be cool to see. That's coming out. I think it debuts December 31st. But it'll be a documentary about an incredible car, the Buick Grand National, fastest production car at that time, turbo 6-cylinder. And I'm telling, there were two of them out at the show yesterday, but one of them, man, that was amazing. The condition and the detail on that vehicle yesterday just blew my mind. I hope I got a picture. I tried to snap so many pictures, my battery died, but I hope I got that one so I can throw it up on our Facebook too, because that was a beautiful example of that car, and they're making a film about the vehicle, so that should be pretty cool. Getting back to the subject at hand quickly, how to deal with a service department and do it successfully. Another big thing where we left off relative to technology, these cars today, the later model stuff especially, but when I say later model, 2002, well, 2000 and up really, but from 2006 and above, it really gets complicated. Steering is electric on a lot of cars. You can't align the latest model cars without a scan tool. Okay, so it's not the old alignment rack and making the alignment adjustments, camber and caster, etc., toe in. If you don't have the computer plugged into this equipment, you can't align it. That's how sophisticated cars are getting. A lot of the safety features, the tire pressure monitor systems, I could go on and on. The systems that used to be purely mechanical are now computer controlled. And in a particular vehicle, when you have multiple computer modules, there could be 23, 24 different modules talking to each other at any given time. That's what makes the diagnostic, expensive and more time consuming, because it's involved. You got to be a mechanical technician, but you got to be a computer savvy tech too.
And that reminds me, because of the technology I'm seeing on these commercials where a car parks itself.
Right.
All these computers that let this happen.
Right.
If something fails,
you got a big problem.
You got a huge problem on top of taking it to service, having that worked on by the technician. That's what you were talking about before, having them qualified.
Right. Being up to date.
And I can ask for it.
Knowing how to work on that stuff.
Let me see what you're qualified in. I want to see your...
You can absolutely ask to see their certifications, or ask for at least a list of the certifications. Ask to talk to the technician, because you can get a relative idea of how credible they are when speaking to them about different things, if you know anything about cars. But
well, because I'm soft-hearted, you know that I'm a very soft guy, and
yeah.
It seems like technicians or service writers talk down to you.
Again, man, it depends. If you're getting that, you're in the wrong service shop. Okay. I mean, you really are.
So I'd be afraid to ask for the certificates or their license and everything. As far as
it's, you have to understand in the business that it is a business where there is some negativity relative to working on hot, dirty cars and parts that don't fit. And I mean, they got to stay motivated and upbeat, and it just depends on where you're at.
Sure.
And if you get that, then you probably need to seek another service shop, because it shouldn't be that way. It goes back to this. All the signs that are in the shops that say customers not allowed beyond this point, blah, 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 and a lot of places ask you to get out. And the truth of the matter is, safety is an issue in a shop, but if your car's in their building, you have every right to go into that building to your vehicle. We'll talk about that when we come back. Dipsticks and Deals, Real Talk, 1160.
weather when you need it. Your Real Talk 1160 forecast every 15 minutes.
Here's the forecast for northern Kentucky, Cincinnati, and the Tri-States for this afternoon. Mostly sunny, a high near 89. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 66 degrees. On Monday, partly sunny, a high near 90 degrees. 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Monday night, mostly cloudy, a low around 69. From the Real Talk 1160 WeatherBug Forecast Center, this is Jim Tice.
Reincarnation Auto Body and Paint of Northern Kentucky. This is Don. May I help you?
Don, this is Rick from 1160, man.
Hey, Rick. How are you doing?
Not good. Okay, long story short, Pecoro loaned me his car to go pick up his dry cleaning, and on my way out, I backed right into a light pole. He is going to kill me.
All right, Rick. Settle down. Bring it in, and I'll personally inspect the damage. I'm positive we can take care of it with no problem at all.
You are the man. But Don, this has to stay between me and you.
Hi, I'm Don Metalka, owner of Reincarnation Auto Body and Paint. Bring your damaged vehicle, and I will personally take the time to show you why Reincarnation is different. We're flexible with your deductible, and I know my experience with handling insurance companies will help you get your repairs done smoothly. Just Google Reincarnation of Northern Kentucky, where we bring good cars back to life. Reincarnation Auto Body and Paint, Don Metalka speaking.
Hey, Don, it's Pecoro. See, I was out driving in the wife's van, and I drove by your lot, and I thought I saw a car that looked like mine.
Yeah, that's a popular color.
I had 5 drunk driving charges in the last 6 years of my drinking, and I drank for over 55 years. My probation officer threatened me with a year in jail. So the next day I went to my first AA meeting. I had tried many times in my life to quit drinking, but always went back to even heavier drinking. For me, the AA program has been the easier, softer way to stop drinking. Alcoholics Anonymous. It works. Look us up. Check your phone book, newspaper, or AA.org.
My grandson always tells me I worry about him too much. Well, I was worried sick when he came home from Afghanistan. He came back wounded.
Many of our warriors return from the battlefield with post-traumatic stress disorder. Help support them at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Between the economy and the price of gas, how about a way to save some money for a change? Lower your insurance premium with help from Huseman Schmidt Insurance. They understand more than most because they've been local, family-owned, and part of your community since 1976. Huseman Schmidt's expertise and common sense approach have helped their clients protect their assets and save money. For all your business and personal insurance needs, call Huseman Schmidt at 513-521-8590 and ask for Rob or AJ, or visit HusemanSchmidt.com. Huseman Schmidt cares.
Hi folks, Debbie. Robke with Robke Automotive. I'm here to tell you about Northern Kentucky's best full-service used car store. Shop Robke for sales, service, parts, collision repair, and rental car. Robke Automotive, where quality is superior. Our prices can't be beat, our service is guaranteed, and our parts come with a national warranty. Come visit Robke and see why our customers are always smiling. Robke Automotive, I-275 at Exit 80 in Northern Kentucky, on the web at GoRobke.com, or check us out on Facebook for fantastic deals of the week.
We're driven to treat you right.
Laura Ingram?
Yeah, ding, 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 ding.
We've got an app for that.
Oh, fantastic.
Download TuneIn Radio for your Android, iPhone, or BlackBerry. And listen to Real Talk 1160 anywhere, anytime.
Your healthy radio addiction.
Imagine you're reaching for a pen when you slip and, yep, there goes your coffee, right onto your computer. If you're one of the almost 50% of small businesses that don't back up their PCs, you've just lost data, and there's a good chance you'll lose sales. From human error to natural disasters, or even those little oops moments, there's always a risk of your computer system going down, and that could really hurt your business. Take it from Doug McDonald at the Cincinnati Museum Center.
Like every other business, data is critically important. We have over 80,000 records of donors and members who are critical to our livelihood.
That may be enough to make you give up coffee forever, but there's a better way. How does the Museum Center do it?
Cincinnati Bell is a wonderful partner, and with them, I don't worry about these things. That gives me peace of mind.
So don't swear off coffee just yet, because Cincinnati Bell is now offering data backup, part of our Peace of Mind suite. Get 25 gigs for just $25 for 12 months. Now that should help you relax, unless you've had too much coffee. Just call 513-2-BUNDLE or visit myrightsolution.com/backup. Cincinnati Bell, right here for you.
If it has to do with a presidential election, we're all over it. Real Talk 1160.
Dipsticks and deals on Real Talk 1160 with Jimmy B in the third wheel. I feel like I should apologize because we've gotten into a subject, for anybody just joining us, how to deal with a service shop successfully. And we've just a lot of bullet points that we're discussing and talk about that has bled into some of our other segments, and I do apologize for that. But next week, We will get to Fast and Furious, our new segment.
There's some new segments coming on.
We're going to get to that for sure. We've got a car insurance topic that's very interesting, something everybody needs to hear. We're going to do that next week.
Race report. We'll touch on maybe the insurance a little bit, but
race report. We tried to hit all the regular segment stuff that we do, but
I tell you what, though, this topic is a great topic because somebody like me who could be sitting around in the neighborhood with friends and having a beverage. One of the big things we talk about when this topic comes up is just what you were saying as far as anything we have to talk about as far as a car dealership goes or a service shop is all those things you were talking about. Feeling like we get ripped off. This guy's not even qualified. They're no good. You know what I mean? We add our little non-professional things in the mix.
Right.
And this is probably the number one thing that is discussed about a shop.
Well, it's actually the number one business complaint in the Attorney General's office of every state. It has to do with either auto sales or auto repair.
But even this, I think...
And some of it's founded.
Some.
And some of it is,
but
and
not
some
as much
of
as
it
you
is
think.
not as much as you think, because a lot of folks, unfortunately, as in a lot of instances in varied topics, are going to hear what they want to hear. They're going to believe what they want to believe, and it is something that's behind closed doors almost, because either you're not there or the car's in the back of the shop and you don't see what's going on, and there's that old misnomer or cliche that service shops there rip you off, which one of the bullet points I have is exactly that. You know, you don't want to assume that everything they tell your car needs is here they go. It's an upsell. They're trying to, I go in for an oil change and they give me $1,000 bill. Well, that's not always the case. If there's shops out there still doing this, I don't know how they survive, honestly, because with technology, word of mouth, Facebook, all the places you can throw a business under the bus these days, how do they survive? And the thing about it is, it's two-sided. You come in and you get an oil change. That's all I want is an oil change. We're going to do an inspection on your vehicle, because there's a lot of things we, know what to look for that you don't. There's things that you can't see. You wouldn't know what you're looking at if you did. You can't get your car up off the ground to inspect. You know what I'm saying. You're not a technician.
And it's called inspection.
It's an inspection. We're doing it for the benefit of the customer more so than the benefit of the dealership. Do we want to fix those things and we're going to give you an estimate? Of course. We're in business. That's what we do for a living.
Make money.
Part of my expertise is to deliver to you information that you should be aware of, especially when it has to do with safety or longevity of your vehicle or fuel economy or whatever it is. That's part of the business. It's not always somebody trying to jam stuff you don't need down your throat. There's maybe some shops doing that. I don't know. I just, like I said, don't see how you could survive in this kind of economy in 2012 if you're doing that kind of business. I don't see how you could make it. If you feel like you're getting that, ask them to explain it. Better yet, what we do at Robkey, we ask everybody to come look. You know, we don't want you to take our word for it necessarily. If you build that relationship, which is the primary component of dealing with a shop successfully, you have to have the trust. If you trust what they're telling you and you have a relationship with them, you don't need to see it because you know they're telling you the truth. But we invite customers back, new customers especially. Hey, you were just here for an oil change. We do a courtesy inspection, no charge. This is a couple of things we saw. You see here, you see here, you see here. We want to show you, and then the potential cost and cause if you don't get it fixed, etc. And that's a benefit, a real benefit to the customer. You should expect when you go in to have something done on your car that the whole car is looked at. Now, they're not going to get into air conditioning performance and computer diagnostics. They're not going to do that. It's the majority of it is going to be visual inspections, maintenance related, and they're going to be looking for worn and broken parts. Here's the other side of that. You go in to get an oil change and shop doesn't do the inspection. 2 days later, your water pump's leaking. Are you mad that they didn't check your water pump while you were just there for an oil change?
Yes.
You see what I mean?
Right.
If I don't tell you, you are going to be more upset that I didn't tell you if something were to occur than you would be if I came out with an estimate for $2,500. It is what it is. And here's the other thing. Of course, we prefer that you do your one-stop service shopping at Robke or at Fear up north in Hamilton. Every business would like that. But we know, relative to where people live and work, you're going to go different places. And how good is a service shop going to look if I just did your oil change and rotated your tires and sent you down the road without inspecting your vehicle? Maybe you had a flat, you were near another store, a tire shop, you went in and they did do one. And now they found 5 things that you needed to done. Doesn't that make me look like I don't know what I'm doing?
Yes.
When I just had your car in and didn't tell you anything. So it's a value builder for a store. It's a great service for a customer. It's at no charge. And here's the thing. If you're at the right place, they're going to itemize this stuff relative to priority, what you can do now, what you need to pay attention to. The best thing to do is to keep going back to that shop so that they can continue to look at those items and see when it is necessary to get it done now.
Because they're familiar with it.
That's right. Versus the shop that you go into, and I'm telling you, if you drive a car into a service shop and it drives in fine and you've not noticed or felt or had any issues and they come out with all this doom and gloom, get out. You see what I'm saying? If they come out and say, you really need to do this, this is unsafe, this is going to cost you $3,000 if you don't do this today. I wouldn't drive this car if you don't get this done. That is not good. That's the service communication that should be a red flag, because there isn't anything on a car that you're driving into a shop that could be that detrimental. If it is, it's going to be related to steering or brakes, and they're going to have to come out. They're going to have to take you out and show you.
As I said, being informative, as listeners as they are here, then I could say, well, show me.
You need to be shown until you build that relationship and that trust.
Right.
Make the shop earn your business, and that's how you do it. At Robke, we have a system. I can email you photographs. So if you're at the office or you're at home, you don't have to pack up and come down. I can take pictures and send them to you. Hey, here's what I'm talking about. You see this? Next time you're in, we're going to need to probably get that taken care of.
One thing I'd like to see is, and I hate to say the word dumb it down, but like in the insurance business as well, the insurance jargon, I don't understand half the time what you guys say to me when there's an issue.
Well, yeah, and you want to, it wouldn't offend anybody to ask them to do that.
Okay.
Can you explain that in a way that I can understand it?
Sure.
One of the reasons we put the folks into our service lane that we did is for that reason, to address that, because I don't want a real technical savvy guy writing up the tickets, because it does do what you just said. They can sometimes, maybe not purposefully, but they can speak in terms that doesn't make any sense.
Way over my head.
The other side of it is those are typically the type of folks that will tend to pre-diagnose vehicles on a service drive, which is detrimental to the whole operation. You don't want to do that. You don't want them assuming anything. So you put folks that can relate on the counter. You want to talk to somebody who knows cars but isn't a technician. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what we did. It's worked really, really well. And then you just have to have that component to be able to transfer that information to the guy that's going to be working on your car. So there's a lot to it. But what I'm trying to say, and the point of this segment is really simple, and that is don't go in with preconceived notions that you're going to get ripped off. Understand, especially if you're going into a new shop, that you want to build a relationship and look for ways to trust what they're telling you, that they'll show you. They have no problem breaking down the estimate for you and showing you point by point what everything costs and why, explaining the diagnostic process. You're paying for that service. To get the most value out of it and to have the most successful experience, you need to do all these things. And I probably got 10 more points that we didn't get to. So when we get back, we're going to get into a little bit more of this and then close this subject. You're listening to Dipsticks and Deals on Real Talk 1160.
Come on and take a free ride.
when you need it. Your Real Talk 1160 forecast every 15 minutes.
Here's the forecast for northern Kentucky, Cincinnati, and the Tri-States for this afternoon. Mostly sunny, a high near 89. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 66 degrees. On Monday, partly sunny, a high near 90 degrees. 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Monday night, mostly cloudy, a low around 69. From the Real Talk 1160 Weatherbug Forecast Center, this is Jim Tice.
This is Steve Jarnicki, voice of Florence Freedom Baseball. Last night it was Brandon Mathis pitching a complete game shutout as the Freedom rolled to a 14-0 win against Evansville. Catcher Jim Jocko had 4 RBI on the night. As today, the Freedom will look to make it 2 in a row. It's a day-night doubleheader. Join me starting at 12:50 for all the action between the Otters and the Freedom on Real Talk 1160.
Savage. The only cure for extreme liberalism is shock therapy, massive doses of psychotropics, and hopefully years of re-education.
Michael Savage, weekdays at noon on Real Talk 1160. Did you know Fear Buick GMC in Hamilton has been family owned and operated and serving the tri-state since 1932? Isn't that the kind of dealership you want to buy your next car from? And because of that success, Fear Buick GMC announces their upcoming move later this year to their new 26,000 square foot location between Menards and Kohl's near Bridgewater Falls. Come see Ray Tenley, Fear's general manager for the past 25 years, and tell him Dipsticks and Deals sent you. Call 513-863-8111 or visit fearmotors.com. That's FIEHRER Motors.com.
Hi, I'm Jeff Pecora, one of the voices of the Cincinnati Reds, and I'm here with Colleen Hawes, owner of the premier casual upscale restaurant Grandview Tavern and Grill.
Thank you, Jeff. It's a place where business meets casual in a social setting. Come enjoy our New York strips, bacon-wrapped shrimp and grits, or specials like pan-seared sea bass, and don't skip dessert. I promise they are worth the calories.
My wife can't get enough of your handmade specialty pizzas, and I love train beers.
Nothing's better than watching our Reds win on one of our 16 flat-screen TVs.
I found the Grandview Tavern and Grill to be the best place for lunch meetings with incredible food and impeccable service.
I'm so excited to be out on the patio again. We pack them in out there. Whether you're here to network for business, have an intimate dinner for two, or dance the night away to live music under the stars, this place is for everyone.
Yeah, since coming to the Grandview Tavern, we feel more comfortable than any of the other restaurants. And by the way, Colleen, your outdoor patio rocks.
Jeff, you're too much. Just Google Grandview Tavern and Grill for the latest happenings and list of music.
Hi folks, Debbie Robke with Robke Automotive. I'm here to tell you about Northern Kentucky's best full-service used car store. Shop Robke for sales, service, parts, collision repair, and rental car. Robke Automotive, where quality is superior, our prices can't be beat, our service is guaranteed, and our parts come with a national warranty. Come visit Robke and see why our customers are always smiling. Robke Automotive, I-275 at Exit 80 in Northern Kentucky, on the web at gorobke.com, or check us out on Facebook for fantastic deals of the week.
We're driven to treat you right.
We know you should be working, but seeing as you're on Facebook already, why not flip over to the 1160 page and tell us what you think? Then go to 1160.com and listen while you're online. We're worldwide. Real Talk 1160.
In this column, you can see third quarter earnings are up 7% above projected growth. Oh, and as I mentioned to the board of directors, I'm an abusive father. Not only do I physically abuse my 2 young children all the time, I neglect them as well. I often leave them alone for hours at a time without any supervision.
If only child abuse was this easy to recognize, perhaps then more people would report it. If you even suspect abuse, call Child Help at 1-800-4A-CHILD or visit www.childhelp.org. We've helped millions of people help millions of children, and we can help you. All calls are anonymous and confidential, so remember 1-800-4A-CHILD or visit www.childhelp.org. Child Help. Trust your instincts. A public service message brought to you by Child Help and the Ad Council.
Laura Ingram, mornings at 9. Real Talk 1160.
Dipsticks and Deals, Real Talk 1160 with Jimmy B and the third wheel. We're talking about how to deal with a service shop successfully.
Hey, man, I'd like to tell the listeners, do me a favor, because I have horror stories all the time, like again, sitting around the fire, drinking a beer or a beverage over at the home. To send a horror story, I would actually like to hear. in the service department that you had or think you had to our Facebook or our website.
Yeah, or you can send it to ask@dipsticksanddeals.com if you'd like. Just, I don't know, comment on the subject. Put a story in there if you've had a bad story or if you have a question over something that happened recently. We'd be happy to get into that for you. It is. Whenever you've got something that is the number one attorney general concern, is complaint-wise, something like you said, Third Wheel, that is common discussion amongst neighbors and family. And once you get started, it seems everybody has a story, bad relative to this sort of thing. And so there's a lot of bullet points to hit, and I think really a lot of good information and maybe some insight that could make it easier on folks.
I think that's the big thing because, like I said, no matter what we're talking about when we're discussing this with friends and family that are not experts, we always end up, if we started out with sales or financing and leasing or whatever we were talking about, we always end up back at the surface complaint.
Yeah.
Or the what we assume was an issue that we had that really wasn't.
Right. Well, and a lot of it comes from, our cars have become dependents. I mean,
it's an investment. I don't care what people say.
It's not just an investment, though. I mean, what I'm saying is you come to rely on your vehicle. It's a part of your whole entire existence anymore.
Well,
because
that's what I mean.
Yeah. And so... And it's one of them things where you want to be able to. You paid a lot of money for the car. You don't want to have to keep putting money in it. You know what I mean? And it pains you every time you have to put money in it. But you have to understand it's a machine. It's an abused machine, and I don't mean you're abusing it. I mean just being driven down the road.
It's an important machine of your life.
You
need to pick up food. You need to go to work.
This isn't the Wild West, dude. If you don't have an automobile, you're not gonna make it.
No.
So you buy the car. And you buy a good car, and you want to be able to put gas and oil in it, and that's it. But the unfortunate truth of it is that an automobile is more abused than a machine in a factory because it's hitting bumps, and it's being hot, and it's cold, and it's driven hard, and it's driven easy, and the brakes and the suspension, and on and on and on and on. It really takes the wear and tear. So maintenance and repair is a necessity. It's just one of those evil necessities. And I don't know. I guess it's, we complain about our utility bills and stuff like that.
That's just going to say.
There's nobody, you can't get the satisfaction because you can't go to the utility. I guess you could go to Duke or somebody and say, yeah, I'd like to talk to somebody. I'm not happy with my bill. But you talk to your neighbors and you talk to your friends, and you might make a phone call or something and admit you're mad, but you know what? You keep paying it.
Well, the car, again, and your precious cargo, your children, everything. I mean, and you do it every day. Right. So that's why, like the utility bills, the car's become like, your shoe or your sock. You're just so used to it.
I wouldn't refer to it as a shoe or a sock, but I kind of understand where you're going.
That it's so natural. It's an everyday thing that you really don't think about it too much as far as until the bill comes or you're arguing about. I guess what I'm trying to say is why argue about so much when you don't argue about the other things like you said about the utility bills or the buying the chicken that went up another $1. You know what I mean? It's just this car, this machine, is everything.
Yeah,
it gets you everything you need,
and you have to take care of it.
And if it doesn't run, or it crashes because of safety issue or whatever.
But it's something that you got to take care of, and it's unfortunate a lot of times that, and the way we're talking about technology and the way these automobiles are being built, they're not being built and being less expensive to repair. I mean, could you imagine the cost out of warranty to fix that parking system you were talking about if you were ever wanted to fix it? You know what I mean?
Right.
What's it going to cost to fix electric steering and all this automated stuff in these vehicles? It's just like, there's most of the late model cars now, they've absolutely, and for purpose, have killed the aftermarket radio industry. You can't buy a radio that fits in most of these cars. I was in a couple of them Friday where the radio was at the bottom and the display for the radio was way up on top of the dashboard.
So it's a whole ginormous system.
That's it. You can't put an aftermarket radio in it. And that radio is controlled by a computer. It's totally bizarre. It's totally cool.
But common sense tells you, maintain your car.
Fix what's broke.
When it says it's supposed to.
Right. But you want to be in a place that's going to be able to tell you. Sure. But you want to be in a shop that's going to say, hey, look, we noticed a little wear on these bushings. You don't need to do this right now. We wanted to make you aware of it. They may start making noise. Over the next 6 months, we'll peek at them again. We'll let you know when it's time to save. But now you want to start putting a little money aside for them.
Like my brakes are at like 3%. I'm waiting till 0.
There you go. Listen, we'll probably do another continuation segment on this. But next week, we got some other things we're going to do. What are we going to talk about next week?
Next week, we're going to talk about insurance, mainly car insurance. And just sort of like this segment, we're going to educate you, inform you, without all the insurance jargon that everybody can't stand that lawyers and actuaries write down. You get the policy, you don't know what's what.
And hereins.
It's more of what's not covered is how you should be worried about things.
What kind of coverage you really need?
What do you need? You know,
and
an
now
example.
I want to get into state minimums because I know.
Well, again, yeah,
we won't get into
we can
it
talk
now,
about
but
it later, and we can get into. Deductibles and comp and collision. What do I need? What do I don't need on these things? If do I have one car? Do I really just need liability? Because what happens if it gets damaged and it's gone?
Right. So we got a lot of good stuff coming up. But like we say, you will be smarter for having listened.
Always be smarter,
and that's what we're trying to.
I'm
get
smarter.
To. We've got a tech tip. This one will make you smarter each week too. So we're going to open the toolbox. And this comes to us from Justin Hurd Jr. He works at Steve's Auto Repair over in Brookville, Indiana. And his tip is try to get gasoline from the same 1 or 2 stations. Gas is different one station to the next, including the amount of detergents, quality, and other factors. Using multiple gas brands can cause engine and filter problems. And that's a good tip. And I did a little research, which I knew this, but I wanted to refresh. There are actually bulletins from manufacturers that tell you not to do that. So there's bulletins. In fact, in a lot of owner's manuals, it will tell you, even by brand, their preferred gasoline. And a lot of times it's not because they're in their pocket. It's because that fuel is what works the best for the way they design the engine. And there are absolutely different grades of gasoline because just like in the auto repair business, I can get a water pump. And I can get a $50 water pump or I can get a $300 water pump. Some of the differences can be in the quality. So I can put a water pump on the car that's going to function. It's just not going to function as long, or it may be noisy, or it may end up leaking, or it may not fit properly. Gasoline can be the same way station to station. So he's saying try to get it at the same 1 or 2 stations as much as possible. And that's going to help your car run better and run cleaner. We want to remind everybody about our Dipsticks and Deals gas, cash, or crash contests. $25 in gas, $25 in cash, or crash the station and come in and be with us on air. Log on to Facebook and answer this question. What type of car did Starsky drive on the TV show Starsky and Hutch, and what was the car's nickname? So if you know the answer to that, jump on to Facebook, dipsticksanddeals.com, and answer that for your chance to win that contest. We've come close to running out of time here on Dipsticks and Deals. We appreciate everybody being here, and we once again want to thank Easy Street Speed and Customs out in Milford. You need to go out and check those guys out. We want to thank Cincy Custom Street Machines for inviting us out, and we're going to be out there on the 18th for the Labor of Love show, so come out and see us there.
I think that goes to Shriners, right?
That does. I'm glad you mentioned that. It benefits the Shriners Burns Institute. So great cause. They're going to hopefully raise a lot of money out there, and we're going to pray for good weather like
Great
we had yesterday.
Facility, too, to view a car show.
Yeah,
all right,
it is.
Let's do Song of the Week. 1964, Ronnie and the Daytonas. The song is GTO. Number 4 on the Billboard pop singles chart back then.
Thanks a lot for joining us. We'll see you guys here same time next week, Sunday 9 to 11. Dipsticks and Deals on Real Talk 1160.
You ought to see her on a roll course or a corner